Global entry. This might just be the most valuable travel purchase that I've made over the last year. But what is global entry? How does it work? What does it get you? And who should apply? First, the basics. What is global entry? Global entry is a program designed primarily to allow expedited immigration when you arrive in the US. And that's both for US citizens and for foreign visitors. When you land from a flight or any other port of entry into the US, you can find separate, faster queues and a more simple entry process for global entry participants. So no more waiting in 2 to 3 hour queues like you get at some US airports like JFK or Miami. And in addition to that expedited immigration experience, global entry also comes with TSA PreCheck, which would usually cost you over $75 if you purchased it separately. And TSA PreCheck is another way that you can really make the airport experience a lot easier, giving you access to shorter lines and a less stringent security process when going through airport security in the US. So again, no more waiting in huge lines and no need to take off your shoes. Global entry costs $120. So it's only costing you $43.25 more than if you were to just buy TSA PreCheck separately. So it really doesn't make a lot of sense to buy TSA PreCheck separately rather than getting it as part of global entry, unless you know for sure that you're going to be primarily flying domestically in the US. But given that your global entry membership will last for 5 years from the point of purchasing, probably only really need a couple of overseas trips within that 5 years to make it worthwhile having that global entry on top of the TSA PreCheck. But what is that process actually like in practice? How do you apply, and is it actually worth it? Well, if you're a US citizen, the first step is to apply via the US Customs and Border Protection website. Access the website and select to apply for global entry. But if you're applying from outside the States, as I was as a UK citizen, then there is one additional step to take before this. One of the first stages that you'll come to when doing your application on the US Customs and Border Protection website is it will ask you for an access code from your home government. For myself, to get this access code, I needed to apply from the UK government website. From this website, I had to pay for a UK background check, which cost me £42, which obviously adds to the overall cost of global entry if you are applying from outside the US. And when I applied, it said that it could take up to 10 working days for me to get that through. But thankfully, in my case, that code actually arrived on the very same day that I applied, so I was able to immediately go back to the US Customs and Border Protection website and start the global entry application from there. And it's a relatively simple form to fill out. It mainly asks for things like your work history, your address history. I was slightly concerned when filling mine out as I'd just taken redundancy from work a couple of weeks before that. And I wasn't sure that unemployed part-time YouTuber would necessarily be the demographic they'd want to be able to easily get into the country. But thankfully, that was no issue at all. The CBP website does list some key reasons why people might be ineligible, so do keep that in mind if any of these apply to you. I think the most time-consuming part of the application for me is it does make you fill out every country that you've been to within the last 5 years. Now, I'm fortunate enough that this was quite a large number for me, so it did take quite a while to enter all of those. But thankfully, the form itself does actually make it quite easy. There's nothing you need to type out. They've basically got a long list of countries in alphabetical order. You scroll your way through and just tap on any that are relevant to you. And as soon as you selected them, that's that included. So although there was a lot to enter, thankfully it didn't take too long and it made it easy to not miss any as well. But once all the form was completed and submitted, I then had to pay $120, which was the application fee. Worth noting, if you're not approved, you don't get this refunded. But thankfully, my conditional approval was received within 1 day. So at this stage, you do just have a conditional approval, and that's conditional on you having an in-person interview. And there are a couple of ways you can go about getting this interview. Firstly, you can schedule an appointment at some appointment centres. These are primarily located in or around some major US airports, but there are a couple outside the country. For example, there's one in Qatar and one in Singapore. However, the easiest option, particularly if you do live outside of the States, is to just do an interview on arrival. Now, you can't make an appointment for this, but it is just a case of when you arrive at the airport, requesting an interview, and there'll be somewhere you can go to have that. You'll be able to do this at basically all international US airports. And there is also actually quite a long list of countries that you can do this outside of the US as well. So in any of the countries that allow you to do pre-clearance of immigration before flying to the US, you can also do your interview in those countries. So I'll put the list up on screen. Basically, any of these, you will be able to do your interview whilst going through pre-clearance. So I've mentioned that you can't book an appointment for these interviews. So how does it actually work in practice? Well, I'll tell you how it worked for me, because it can vary slightly from airport to airport, but it'll largely follow the same idea. In my case, I was landing into New York JFK, and when I landed, I initially just had to go through the standard immigration queue, which thankfully wasn't too long on the day that I arrived. And the plan was that once I'd gone through the standard immigration process, I would then ask the immigration officer if I could have my interview for global entry. Following that, what will happen is they'll then direct you to where you have your interview, which is just after where you collect your luggage, but just before you clear customs. In the end, I didn't actually have to request the interview. When I got to the front of the immigration line, we actually met probably the friendliest immigration officer I've ever dealt with. Just had a nice chat. And then he actually noticed on his system that I'd been conditionally approved for global entry, and he proactively offered the interview and told me where I needed to go for it. Once I got over to where you need to queue for the interviews, they were just calling people up one by one to go for these. I was a little bit nervous about what kind of things they were asked. I didn't know how in depth they were going to go with it. I was worried what might happen if they'd asked me something that I couldn't think of the answer for on top of my head. Like I say, there was a lot of travel history that had to enter into the form. So I thought maybe they would ask me about some of those countries I've been to, something like that. But in the end, literally, all they did was take a photo of me, scan my fingerprints, and that was it. Didn't ask me a single question. So despite it being called an interview, it really wasn't one. Basically just a recording of biometric data, which is something that you'll do when going through immigration anyway. And once I'd done that, I was given confirmation that my global entry and TSA PreCheck had been fully approved. And I was then given what's called a known traveller number, which is something that you use when going through TSA PreCheck. So that's the application process covered, but how do you actually go about using this? And how have I found the benefits so far? Well, since getting global entry, I've gone through US immigration 4 times now, and I've also taken quite a lot of flights within the US and out of the US, which has meant going through TSA security quite a bit. And I've got to say, probably just on the trips that I've done within the last 6 months or so, if I don't go back to the US for the next 4 years, it's probably already been well worth the money that I paid for it, just from the time savings that I've had already. Let's start with those immigration benefits first. How do you go about using those, and does it actually save much time? So when you land in the US from overseas, rather than going in the standard immigration line, you want to follow the signs for the global entry queue. I say queue, or line as they like to say in the US, but more often than not, when you get there, there'll be no queue at all. You'll just be able to walk straight on. And in those occasions where there has been a line, it's been a lot less than the standard queues. And the way the process works is when you get up there, there'll be some kiosks that will scan your face. Or if you prefer, there is an app within which you can take a photo when you land, and that will replace using the kiosk. The app is designed to save you some time because it means that you don't need to then go up to the kiosk. But honestly, the face scan at the kiosk takes 5 seconds, if that. And personally, I've so far never had to queue up to use the kiosk. I've just been able to walk straight up, it scanned my face, and I'm on my way. So I don't know that using the app would necessarily save much time. And the one time I did try to use it, the app didn't actually work. So I think for me, I'll just stick with the kiosk. After you've gone past the kiosk, you'll then approach an agent who'll be sat at the desk, who more than likely will just wave you straight through. They'll have your info preloaded up on their screen, might be looking at that and might even call you up by name, and they'll just send you straight on your way. And chances are that'll be it. Occasionally, you might get asked the standard arrival immigration questions, so they might ask you how long your stay is, what the purpose of your visit is. That has happened to me 2 times now, and that was the first 2 times that I used global entry. It hasn't happened since, and on both of those occasions, they weren't asking any questions of the people ahead of me or behind me, so that was maybe just something with me being quite new to the system. I'm not sure. It could be a random one too. Has it actually saved me time though? Well, a couple of those arrivals were quite late in the evening, and I've got to be honest, the standard immigration queue on those occasions wasn't actually that long. So although it saved me some time, it wasn't some huge time saving that would be well worth paying money for. But the other 2 times, the standard queues were absolutely massive, the kind of thing that looked like it could take hours to get through. And on those occasions, I just walked straight on by, saved myself a huge amount of time. And again, on those occasions, the time saving I had almost felt worth paying the fee in itself already. TSA PreCheck, on the other hand, that one always feels like I'm getting a big time saving, as well as making just that general TSA experience a lot more convenient. Not only are the TSA PreCheck queues always significantly shorter than the standard TSA lines, the requirements for security in the TSA PreCheck line are also a lot less annoying, so you're not having to take your shoes off, you're not taking everything out your bag, just a much more quick and pleasant experience. And because I've done quite a few domestic flights within the US, those time savings have been able to really add up, so I've got great value from this one already. So the fact that I've got over 4 years left on my global entry and TSA PreCheck feels pretty good. Now, to be able to use those TSA PreCheck lines, you do need to make sure that your known traveller number is added to your boarding pass. If you're flying with a US airline, then you might be able to add this when checking in or just on the managed booking page. But on a lot of airlines, you will have to ask them to add this when you're checking in at the airport. And it's important to make sure you do ask them that, because if you don't get it added to the boarding pass, you won't be able to use that queue. You can't just show them your separate known traveller number, it has to be on the boarding pass. Now, for someone like myself who does make relatively frequent trips to the States, both purely for holidays, but also for making flight reviews for this channel, for me, global entry is an absolute no-brainer. But is it worth it for you? I'd say if you're based in the US and you travel internationally once or twice a year, then again, absolutely makes sense to get this. The time it will potentially save you on landing back in the US really adds up, and it's not that much more than doing TSA PreCheck. So again, if you travel a lot domestically, but maybe do the odd international trip, I think it makes a lot of sense. But for those of you that are based outside of the States, it obviously depends how often you're going to be over there. I'd personally probably argue if you're going to visit the US more than 3 times over the next 5 years, the potential time saving can make it worthwhile for global entry. And particularly if you're going to travel around the US and do internal flights whilst you're over there, then it makes even more sense to get the TSA PreCheck benefit. And when I thought about whether it's worth it for me, the other thing I thought about was a lot of the time that I'm going to the US, I'm not specifically going to the US, but I might need to pass through there. For example, on a lot of trips to the Caribbean, I might be going via a Caribbean cruise out of Miami, or I might be connecting on a flight through the US and maybe have a couple of days there before I head over to the Caribbean or to South America. So trips like that where I'm going to South or Central America or the Caribbean, because I know I might stop over in the US on my way there, that just adds up the number of US trips that I might do. And that might be the same for yourselves as well. If you've got global entry, let me know in the comments. How have you found it? Do you think you get good value from it? And if you don't have it, I'd be interested to get your thoughts on whether or not it's right for you. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.